Hello there viewers and welcome to the opening round of the Elite Karting Series here at Daytona Tamworth. Will you join us for the opening race of the day? This is Group 1 Race 1 and the drivers have just had a 9-minute warm-up session followed by a 1-lap qualifying, which will then set the grid for this race. So on pole position then is the 5-time Tamworth champion Dylan Davis, who put it on pole with a 57.2 ahead of Bertie Bream on a 57.5. Starting in third place on the grid then is the reigning Sandown Park D-Max champion in Matthew Bolton. He's also the first of our heavyweight drivers on a 58.7, with JJ Hines then starting in P4. Starting in 5th place then is Callum Bendelow ahead of Philip Babalau, who is a Milton Keynes regular, with Dane Christensen being the second of our heavyweight drivers in P7 on the grid. Henry Barrington's then starting in P8 ahead of Tom Angia in 9th, ahead of then Chrissy Harding, who's starting in P10. Chrissy's just starting off in outdoor karting, and she's actually starting ahead of her husband Miles Harding, who's starting in P12 alongside Ajit Juby, who joins him on row 6. Let's hand over now to our commentators, which is Tom Dillon and myself, Luke Battersby.
So, it's Dylan Davis on the inside line for turn 1, first race of the EKS from Daytona Tamworth, and here we go. Dylan Davis with a very good start indeed, down into turn 1 and through. He goes into the lead of this race. Bertie Bream is trying to attack him as they go up through turn 4. There's some moves further back. I think that's Hind, Bendelow and presumably Matthew Bolton involved in that little scrap for 4th position. There is Matthew Bolton on that inside line as they head now through turn 6, and he's just about able to get through and into 4th position. Bolton occupies 3rd, but at the moment it's line of stern at the top of the order. It is Dylan Davis leading from Bertie Bream.
We've got Matthew Bolton in 3rd place ahead of Callum Bendelow. Got Philip Babalau in 5th place. I think he got overtaken there by Callum Bendelow, as actually JJ Hines up the inside of Philip Babalau, as he now has managed to pull that move off. That was a really good move there by JJ Hines, as Henry Barrington gets run wide coming out of the 3rd to last corner, as we are now at the end of lap 1 with Dylan Davis in the lead ahead of Bertie Bream. We then got Matthew Bolton in 3rd place ahead of Callum Bendelow, JJ Hines, Philip Babalau. We've then got Henry Barrington and well, I can't see the rest.
Oh well, as we move on, there is a slight hint of a move around the outside right there from Bertie Bream. He's not quite able to find a way fully through just yet. Dylan Davis controlling this race, as he so often does around here.
Looks like in the background Henry Barrington's just gone wide. Looks like Dane Christensen, that is. He's just got past, managed to get his way up into what looks like P7. As Dylan now has got Bertie Bream right behind him, so Bertie Bream's managed to catch up to Dylan Davis here. He's putting him under pressure as they go into the final corner. Is he close enough to make the move? Not quite, but they are bumper to bumper through that last corner.
They are, and it's fairly even in lap times. They head up to the timing loop now to complete this second lap of the day. 57.7, the first lap 57.8 for Bertie Bream, and they're just in the 2s as they go down into lap 3. This is so close from these guys, absolutely evenly matched at the moment. Further back we see a move for, I think that's one of the minor positions, battle for 3rd. He's going to start to heat up as Callum Bendelow looks to apply some pressure to Matthew Bolton, who himself is trying to hold on to that 3rd position, and there may be a move down the inside for Callum Bendelow. He is going to slip his way through and get up into a podium position for the time being. JJ Hind is sitting just further behind. He's trying to pick up the pieces of whatever he can here, but at the moment it's Callum Bendelow who's managed to get himself up into 3rd position.
We've got a car off in the background. I think that's Aditi Juby there, off on the grass, coming into that final sector. He just got wide there, coming out onto the curb, got onto the grass, and round he went. So that now, as we cut over to Miles Harding has allowed Miles to make his way up into 11th place. Miles, remember, this is his first or second time doing outdoor karting, first time in a D-Max car. Only previous time outdoors was doing our inaugural events last December at Butmore Park. Miles by trade is normally an indoor karter, usually does things like the EKS, but he's now making the step up to outdoor karting alongside his wife Chrissy Harding, who is also in this race just in front of him, actually, just following his wife, which is quite unusual in a kart race. But yeah, Miles doing a good job here in 11th place ahead of Aditi Juby.
What much his technique and how different it is to someone at the top of Dylan Davis that you get from the less grip you have from indoor karts, typically in outdoor karts. You want to be flicking the kart into the corner, sliding it through pretty much, whereas in indoor karts you can't really afford to do that. So going to be an adjustment for Miles. Two very different disciplines of the sport. Here is a battle further back, I believe. That is Henry Barrington involved in that, and he forces all the way out wide the person attacking him, just able to hold on to the position. It's impressive stuff as they head on through turn 1, and look at that, he's pulled out 3 or 4 kart lengths. So actually I say 3 or 4 kart lengths, these karts are very, very small indeed, probably about 8 kart lengths as they go up through turn 4. Another very scary corner in these D-Max karts, Luke.
Interestingly, that's not actually a battle for position. That's Dane Christensen there, who Henry was fighting. But you've got to remember, in this race, you've got lightweights and heavyweight drivers out on track at the same time. So that was Henry there battling with Dane, who is a heavyweight driver. Henry, meanwhile, is a 15-year-old who's racing in the lightweight class. Just having a look further forwards here, I'm looking at the battle for third place. We've got a 3-way fight going on here between Callum Bendelow, Matthew Boulton and JJ Hines. All 3 of these drivers, they are very much indoor karters to begin with, who have all made the transition over to outdoors in the last year or so. And well, Matthew and Callum, they were both with us at our inaugural event at Bottle Park. But I'm having a look here at the battle for the lead. Further forwards, Dylan Davis going defensive into turn number 4 against Bertie Bream. Bertie was looking, just trying to get past there. I think Dylan made a bit of a mistake through turn number 3. And Bertie not able to get past there. Dylan was smart to it, went defensive into turn 4 and managed to keep him behind, but they are bumper to bumper here as we go through turn 5 and further back as well. Matthew Boulton just going out of shot there. Matthew Boulton's gone up the inside of Callum Bendelow. Looks like he's into P3. Matthew Boulton, he's a heavyweight driver. He's weighing up to 90 kilos, so he's managed to make the move there by the looks of things on Callum Bendelow. Yes, he has indeed, as they come back into shot, as we are now focusing in on this battle for the lead between Dylan Davis and Bertie Bream.
These two both being lightweights, of course. I think everyone wants the battle for the overall podium anyway. I don't think these guys are outside of at this stage of the championship anyway too concerned about the classes. We're trying to go back to Miles Harding. I think a pretty nice time at the moment at the back, getting some testing in. There's a few things that I'm sure he'll feel like he's doing wrong. Picking up this quite nicely indeed. Got a hand position on the steering wheel quite high up as he goes through the kink. Okay, at the moment, slight slide through that hairpin. This is when he gets frustrating. It's very physical track Tamworth, far more physical than anything you'd expect in indoor karting. I've driven more, but I suspect probably a little bit more physical than that as well. But in the lead of the race is still Dylan Davis at the top of the order. There he is, and he's now pulled out just a couple of kart lengths to Bertie Brew. He's keeping him honest, keeping him very honest indeed. He knows that if a rare mistake was to come at this stage from Dylan Davis, he's going to be there to pick up the pieces.
Just having a little bit further back, looks like Callum Bendelow's dropped back a little bit here. I think he may have had a little bit of a misfortune as we were away there, as he's now dropped back from that battle for third place. JJ just seeing in the bottom shot here, JJ and Matthew Boulton now in third and fourth place, and then yeah, Callum Bendelow's quite a long way behind, so something's happened there out of shot as we now are focusing again on these leaders. Looks like Dylan's managed to pull a bit of a gap here on Bertie Bream. These two both track regulars here at Daytona Tamworth. Dylan Davis is a 5-time Daytona Tamworth champion, whilst Bertie Bream, he's pretty new to karting actually. He only started karting last year, but he's very quickly become a very fast driver who's racing not only at Tamworth this year, but also racing in Club 100s in the Junior Lightweight Championship. Looks like JJ Hine as well in the background is keeping up with Matthew Boulton. Remember, these two racing in different weight classes. Matthew in heavyweights and JJ racing in the lightweight class. Bertie going down the back straight here. Looks like he's trying to get a little bit of a speed advantage by ducking his head behind the steering wheel. The classic duck your head and try and reduce your drag. Classic move in karting. As he's now still keeping up with Dylan Davis at the front of this race.
And to actually have any markable effect, I think everyone will agree on that, but it does feel like you're going that little bit faster, and maybe that's all that matters. But Dylan Davis comfortably in the lead of this race now, and you say comfortably because when you've got even just a few kart lengths around this circuit, you just feel that pressure has been taken off of you. You've got about 2 laps left, I think, as we get to the line. There's 1:30 onto the clock. It's around sector 3 they go once more. Davis, he's doing very well indeed. They're all sitting around those 57s. What will be frustrating for Bertie here is that he's consistently about a tenth slower than Dylan Davis, and whilst that's not causing a huge gap to develop, it will just make him feel like he's out of this running at the moment as they head up through turn 3 and now down into turn 4. Dylan Davis is going to start to smile slightly because I think he'll have one more lap when they get to the line, and he's going to be confident indeed. In fact, it could be the final lap. It depends how this timing screen likes to work, Luke.
Yes, it's a little bit of an unknown at Tamworth as to when the race will actually finish. You never quite know for sure, but yeah, we definitely are nearing in towards the end of the race as Dylan Davis is just about managing to keep Bertie Bream at bay here in a very, very impressive drive. They're actually going around doing some seriously fast lap times at the moment, doing low 57 lap times every single lap, with a couple of 56s thrown into the mix, which anyone who's been to Tamworth recently will know is a seriously fast lap time in these D-Max karts. As we've got this lovely drone footage here, I mean, just look at this, we're right up in the sky, we can see pretty much the whole track here. Battles going on all over the track, battles for positions everywhere.
This should be the final lap as I score it. We've just hit 0 on the clock.
Looks like we have reached the end of the race
on the drone, but I didn't see the checkered flag fly, but it is Dylan Davis then who wins your first race. Here's Miles Harding, he's going to run up to the line. I didn't see the checkered flag flying on the gantry. Makes sense that would be the final lap. Here goes Miles then, finishing his only second outdoor race, first race in the D-Max cars. So he does cross the line, we'll get you that final classification. So it's Dylan Davis leading from Bertie Bream. Matthew Bolton finishes in third overall. Then it's JJ Hynd, Callum Benjolo, Henry Barrington, and Dane Christensen, Philip Babulal, Tom Angier, Christina Harding, Miles Harding, and then Aditya Dubey, who had that crash a little bit earlier on.